that takes us to the next part of our agenda, which is the establishment of committees and the acting co-chairs for the next couple of days. Now, these committees are essentially, nobody's, I don't think, going to be surprised by the names of them or anything like that. I think you understand what the tasks are in the documents that are part of your packet. These were established by the steering committee for the next couple of days and likely over the next 6 months as we head into our next event, probably in December. This, as we all know, the bulk of the work in any process gets done in the committee, and that's why it's important to serve on the committee as well as participate, and it's important to have co-chairs to lead that effort. What I'm going to ask for at this time is a simple acclamation vote for the establishment of the 3 committees that the steering committee is suggesting. Those 3 committees are the there's 4 committees total, is the executive committee. Now, the executive committee is, heretofore we've simply called it a steering committee, and those are five of the 8 of us who have served on that are standing up front. So we're going to establish the executive committee as a permanent acting committee, the judiciary committee, the planning and communication committee, and finally the rules and procedure committee. I'm sorry, it's planning, communication, and finance, and rules and procedure. So those 4 committees are what we're going to try to establish here today, and they're going to meet this afternoon and begin this journey that we're on. The chair is going to move for the establishment of those 4 committees, and I'll ask for a second from the representative from Minnesota. Is there any discussion on the committees at this point? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. All right, the motion passes. Next thing that we want to do is appoint acting co-chairs for those committees to meet this afternoon. One of the things we want to emphasize is that all of the co-chairs, the steering committee heretofore and now the executive committee, the co-chairs for the executive committee and each of the other committees are from different political parties, a Republican and a Democrat. So this is a bipartisan co-chair effort. And of course, we think that's important not only simply for legitimacy, but for the long-term sustaining of this effort. If I have the numbers right, I think there are 27 state legislatures that are controlled by Republican Party, and I think 22 that are controlled by the Democrat Party, and 5 that are divided in one way or another. Which simply means that unless Republicans and Democrats come together collectively on this effort, we're not going to be able to do the things that the states believe the federal government should be doing and otherwise changing the Constitution. So the steering committee heretofore, or until now, believed that it's essential that we have a co-chairs. Now, the co-chairs I'm going to ask you to approve of today are going to conduct the meetings this afternoon. If the committees, we had a discussion, well, what if we get in the committees don't like the co-chairs? Well, I guess there'll be a big fist fight in there and they'll put somebody else up front. I'm not sure. But we think we've selected some really good folks to run these today, and probably will act as the co-chairs over the next 6 months as we try to plan the next conference and begin developing all of the things that have to be done. There's a huge laundry list which Chris Kapinga, Representative Kapinga, will go through. But one of our co-chairs, Ken Marshall, who's also was co-chair of the executive committee, is in Rhode Island today, and he was going to serve as one of the co-chairs, but they're, I think, voting on the budget this afternoon or tonight, or, well, we all know how budget votes go. Sometime and soon they're going to vote. So he's not going to be able to be here, so we do have a replacement for him today. But the first, the Rules and Procedures Committee, we've asked Senator Holzman from Missouri. Could you stand up, please? Jason's a Democrat from Kansas City, and so we're going to ask him to co-chair the Rules Committee with Utah Senator Niederhauser. Could you please stand up? And he is the president of the Utah Senate, so we've got a couple of folks here who we think will do an excellent job. So the chair is going to move that Senators Holzman and Niederhauser be approved as the acting co-chairs for the Rules and Procedures Committee. Do I hear a second? Second from Arizona. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And this is how I ran city council meetings back in the 90s, by the way. Any discussion? All opposed? If you'd like to speak, let me know. But for these preliminary, what I think are preliminary motions, we're going to try to move that along. So, and there will be obviously plenty of opportunity to talk about the substantive parts of these things. The next committee where we've asked co-chairs to serve, acting co-chairs for this afternoon and for the immediate and perhaps foreseeable future is the Planning, Communication, and Finance Committee. We've asked Representative Wilson, from Alaska, if you could please stand. She's a Republican from, Texas, the largest state in the Union, and also from Oklahoma, Representative Pruitt, who's a Democrat, if you could please stand. And we, Representative Pruitt will perhaps be known as the first pinch hitter in the history of this body, because we asked him this morning when we found out that Representative Marshall wasn't going to be able to serve with Representative Alaska as the co-chair. So the chair is going to move that Representatives Wilson and Pruitt be approved as the acting co-chairs for the Planning, Communication, and Finance Committee. Do I have a second? Second from Alaska. Very good. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much, representatives. Finally, we have the Judiciary Committee, and I want to emphasize that there are a variety of tasks, and probably the committees won't be able to clearly get through all of those things this afternoon. Each of you have asked to be on a committee, and I think most of those committee requests have been complied with, if not each one of them. So you can review those also prior to your committee activities this afternoon. So we've asked to serve as the co-chair of the Judiciary Committee, Democrat Senator from Indiana, Senator Arnold. Could you please stand? Thank you, Senator. And from Wisconsin, Representative Craig, a Republican, all the way in the back with the deputies. All right. The chair is going to move that Senator Arnold and Representative Craig be approved as the co-chairs of the Judiciary Committee. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. And we had a second from the Alabama delegation over here. So